Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I have my latest video here. Very quick one compared to other videos. And I saw a lot of things in this situation with Ron Paul today with numbers and things, and I had to get it stuff out and put it together today. Normally, I take days, but I had to get a lot of stuff out. So this is a short, definitely a shorter video, but I wanted to go over this quite a bit. So there's a number of things about this situation that happened today. If you hadn't heard, Ron Paul supposedly had a stroke on air on his show Liberty Report, which he does a lot of financial stuff and stuff. Whatever. I guess that's where he makes money now or something. So, but this is all controlled. He's controlled opposition as he's been for a long time, and I'm going to prove that in this video, especially with the Gematria and everything. So without any further ado, let me go forward here. So I'm going to get into this first, and then I'm going to show you the video of what happened and everything if you don't know about this. So basically, Vladimir Lenin said the best way to control the opposition is to lead them. So, for example, in our world, we have people that seem to be fighting the evil, but it's controlled opposition. And so if someone were to say controlled opposition, that's what that means. In media, we have examples out there like Rush Limbaugh. If let's say you see the liberal agenda as the horrible agenda, then Rush Limbaugh would be the alternative to that and be the controlled opposition, or an Alex Jones, or in politics. I'll get into that here pretty soon, but that is, we don't have a two-party system. We have it's a selection process, basically, as I've shown many times and proven it many times in my videos. So the opposition to the so-called evil that people see is controlled opposition. The ones, that are the bigger factors in the world, that basically influence millions of people typically. So those are usually a controlled opposition, because the powers that be do not allow anybody that's not controlled opposition to have influence over millions of people or more. So let me make my point here. So, for example, with the book 1984, okay, there's that is a book by George Orwell. There's George Orwell right there, and George Orwell was actually a British operative, and he wrote this book as predictive programming for what's coming. That's really the real story. He was a British operative named Eric Blair, and he wrote this book as far as programming, and other books like Animal Farm and stuff that were predictive programming for and political, predictive programming for stuff that was going to happen in the future. The control of the state, what people were going to have, eventually, as far as, no freedoms, and, Big Brother. I mean, even the phrase Big Brother and all that kind of stuff all comes from 1984, things like that. So I want to talk about that for a second. So George Orwell's book 1984, it was a dystopian, not a utopian, a dystopian novel which paints a vivid picture of a grim future. Humanity has become at that point the slave of perpetual warfare, inescapable government surveillance, insidious propaganda, and irrational denialism. So if you've watched the movie at all that came out in 1984 or read the book, you get the idea. If you haven't, you should. It's definitely a book everybody should read. I read it when I was younger, I think a teenager. I forget I was a sophomore or something like that. And it stuck with me for a long time. So I know a lot about, what's going on with that, and what's going on with, predictive programming in the future. So I wanted to comment about that a little bit more. So Orwell's novel, people focus on super states, the thought police, and Big Brother. But in fact, the single greatest character is a forgettable person named Goldstein. He is the leader of the Brotherhood, and he is based on Leon Trotsky. And that goes, that's in basically Russian history and things, government, Leon Trotsky. I won't get into all that. But within the narrative of the novel, Goldstein is supposed to be the hero whose revolutionary writings inspire those woke minds within the system to rise up and dismantle the corrupt system which they are enslaved. Yet, as the novel progresses, Orwell soon reveals to us that fiction, a character created, it's a fiction. It's a character created by the dominant culture to bait dissenters into the open, so they can be identified and neutralized. As and the main character I forget her name, but there's a female that's used to bait this main character, Winston Smith, who's the everyman. It's anyway, there's a lot going on with that. But Orwell uses Goldstein to paint the vivid picture of controlled opposition. So ultimately, Goldstein is on the wrong side, but people think he's people think he's the leader of the resistance, and this is very common. I want people to get a good idea of what this is, because if you've read 1984 books like this and you understand concepts like this, you need to understand concepts like this, then you understand that a Goldstein, this is from the movie, he was the leader, is really someone like a Trump. And you need to understand, you need to learn from these kind of writings and history and things, because the powers that be, the Luciferian global elites, won't allow someone like this to be real opposition. They'll get rid of them like they did a Kennedy or a Lincoln when they really became a threat. I know people have debate about all that stuff. I don't really care. Or anybody, let's say anybody who, before they even get to having some kind of power, they'll eliminate them if they're a threat. So, he is controlled opposition as well. So I'm going to show you how Ron Paul is, by the numbers, a controlled opposition as well. And based on today is September 25th. Okay, you're going to see all this numerology, this, Gematria. And again, people out there are super religious and don't realize I'm just revealing what the enemy does. You need to take a chill pill and wake up. I mean, seriously, read Ephesians 5:11. I mean, I'm supposed to expose the darkness. This is what I'm doing with the Lord, and He guided me today to put this together and put this out for you, because people need to see that a lot of people think this is an organic situation. Okay, Ron Paul had a stroke on live air, or on air, whatever. I guess on live YouTube, whatever you want to say that is. Live on the air is what I'm trying to say. But it's not. There's a lot of stories about it. It reaches millions of people's eyes. It's all gematria and, predictive programming for the future because of the numbers that they harvest. And I'm going to prove that to you. So September 25th is really 9 being for September, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So we have the code 97. So today, and still today, as I'm doing this video right now in the evening, it's 9/7. Okay, so that's a code. Just remember that 9/7 is for today. The Septem, we know as September the 9th month, but Septem in Latin is 7. And the elites know this month as the 7th month. And then 2 plus 5 is 7. So we have 7/7. So the masses know this as 9/25, but it's hidden as 9/7. And it's even more hidden as 7/7. And I had sent out a text to some of my friends today and saying, today is Stinky BO Day, the 44th Pres, Barack Hussein Obama, because it's his code 77. I'm going to explain why that is, why all this points to him, and why this points to future events as well, and the code of 77 and 57 as well, because Stinky BO is Mr. 57. I've shown that many ways. And just to preface that real quick too, just to give you a couple examples, Barack Hussein Obama's inauguration, his last inauguration, the inauguration of Barack Obama was his 57th. It was the 57th inauguration of president. For example, Trump was the 58th. So he's 57. At one point he said, I visited 57 states, and people thought that was a gap, but that was all coded. I did a video on that. In fact, all the phrasing he did, everything, even where he was in Oregon and everything was all staged. It was all numbers, because he's Mr. 57. And I did a whole video on that. That's crazy. And then also today is 7th month in the Jewish calendar, which is Tishri, and the 7th day. So it's 7/7 on the Jewish calendar. And again, because Barack Hussein Obama is the false Christ or the false Messiah, then he's going to be linked to Hebrew, the Hebrew calendar and Israel and all that kind of stuff, of course. So that's one way, which is phenomenal. So today is in code 7/7, and even more clearly, not in code in the Jewish calendar, is 7/7. Okay, and then for example, July is the 7th month to us on the Gregorian calendar, to most of the masses, pretty much. But which is, for example, July. Also, if you're talking about July 7th, then that would be 7/7. But to the elite, July is the 5th month. Okay, again, the difference between September and September is 7 versus 9, and then July is really the 5th month to the elites and 7th month to us. So that's why 5 equals 7 equals 9, or 5 equals 7, or 7 equals 9, or ultimately 5 is 7 is 9. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So, and so, for example, July 5th in code would be 5-7. And so that's another example of 57, how that works. So you could, so they're both codes ultimately, but 7757. I'm going to show you how that plays out. I just want to put down a foundation for what stuff I'm going to talk about here. Also, I'd mentioned in previous videos several places about George Floyd. His death supposedly was on May 25th. Again, another code for Stinky BO, because it's a death of a black man in a sense, and his death is coming on the 5-7 coded day. And that's why he's Mr. 57 all over the place, because it's about the death and rebirth of the Antichrist. And so his death will be on, I believe, and what I'm saying is on a 5-7 coded day. Okay, so for example, the death of George Floyd was on May 25th, and that's 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, or 5-7. Okay, and I've shown many examples. Watch some of my previous videos. I've shown 70, 80 examples of how Stinky BO is Mr. 57. So, and then George Floyd, again, just to recap, again, backwards, 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, 1 plus 4 is 5, and then 7. So backwards, like I said, a lot of you that haven't seen my videos, maybe, they like to do things backwards, upside down, and backwards, or just, backwards, or upside down, or upside and backwards is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so 5-7, that's 5-7 backwards in English Gematria, George Floyd. This is all planned. George Floyd, I've showed many ways he's Mr. 57, and it's an example of the Antichrist. And then another concept I want to bring to you before I get into this is, to the elites, 6 equals 9. Because again, it's upside down and backwards. So 6 is upside down and backwards of 9, 9 is upside down and backwards of 6. So keep that in mind before I get into this. Now I'm going to get into Ron Paul here. This is what happened today. It's a short clip. Apparently he had a stroke, whether he's acting it or they literally have a stroke gun that they can shoot people with. I'm telling you, that was actually a testimony. And look it up like heart stroke gun. And there's testimony, I think back in the 70s, at Congress, with they're admitting, I think the CIA admitting they had such a gun. But anyway, I think it was, who knows what it was exactly, but it was controlled, and I'm going to prove that to you. So look what happened today, and then you can just see what the situation was with Ron Paul.
Liquidated. We have to get rid of that. That's a burden. We can't buy it. It's Dr. Paul.
Okay, this poor guy. I'm going to show this again real quick for some people that, this is pretty quick. And he's like, what's going on? He just kind of freezes. And he's like, what's going on with this guy? Because he's like losing it. And then, so apparently, like I said, they're saying he had a stroke. Again, I'm going to show how this is controlled, and this is not organic at all. This has been controlled, and I'll prove it to you. But let me play this one more time.
Liquidated. We have to get rid of that. That's a burden. We can't buy it. It's Dr. Paul. Liquidated. We have to.
Okay, you get the point. So, maybe now about to proving this, and the way this has been set up, it looks like it was. They do this a lot, where they'll sync these events with the date, and I'm going to prove that in a dramatic way, in a huge way, by several things. So, first one is first letter code. I've shared first letter code so many times in my videos. But first letter code for Ron Paul is RP. R is 18th letter of the alphabet. 1 plus 8 is 9. P is the 16th letter of the alphabet. 1 plus 6 is 7. That's 9-7. Okay? And then Ron Paul equals 97 in simple gematria, if you can believe it. And again, why is 9-7 important? Because today is September 25th. September is 9. 2 plus 5 is 7. So today in code is 9-7. Okay, wow. I've just begun. Just wait till you get into wait till I get into some of this other stuff. And then his full name is Ronald Ernest Paul. Again, R is 9 because it's 19th letter is, sorry, 18th letter is 1 plus 8 is 9. And then Ernest, now he's got this in here now, is 5. E is the 5th letter of the alphabet. Again, we have P is 7, 16th letter, which is 1 plus 6 is 7. Now in 9, 5, 7, anything you add 9 to will stay the same. So we can automatically knock off 9, and we have 57. So see how 97 is 57? Or today is really 57 because it's referring to his full name, and and something happened to him dramatically today, which made it on the news and all over. Lots of articles on CNN and Washington Post. I mean, all this kind of stuff. It's crazy all over the internet. Okay, so boom, and then Ron Paul in reverse English gematria is 552, and that's 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 57. So ultimately, they're pushing this 57 thing. So and 77, which are all numbers for Stinky BO. Now, let's keep going with this. And then Ronald Ernest Paul is also 67 in Jewish reduction. And again, remember I said 6 is 9, 9 is 6. So 6, 7 is 9, 7. Remember? 9, 7 right here, 9, 7, which is today. 9, 25th is 2 plus 5 is 7. So today is 9, 7. Crazy stuff. And then here he is in the hospital, so-called, right? And he's giving you a thumbs up. I'm okay, right? Well, some people could say, okay, this, something could have just happened to him. Someone did something to him, whatever. Well, if you look at him, and like I said, I look at a lot of the details. The Lord directs me to certain details. And one of those things is you see the thumbs up. And so, you're looking at the thumbs up, and then right underneath that is his watch. Now, I just oriented the watch, zoomed in on it a bit, and I could see that his watch is literally saying 237. So immediately I knew what that was. I knew 237 is 2 plus 3 is 5, and then 7, or 57. And then I started doing, as I did the gematria on him, on different things, it just, stuck out like crazy. So Ronald Ernest Paul is 237, and the watch was on 237. In fact, they said something about, in the stories, about 3 o'clock or something, and so 237 is right on par with that. But that literally, the little hands are just after a little after the 2, the big hands at the 37. It's crazy. I mean, this is insane. So this is not planned completely, okay? And then Congressman Ron Paul is 237. I mean, this is silly. This is crazy. Even more, Texas congressman is what he was. He's a former Texas congressman, or retired Texas congressman. 77. Again, I'm proving he's controlled opposition, because these numbers couldn't be all this unless, if it was organic, this stuff couldn't be. It shows you that's controlled and contrived. In fact, they have to put this stuff out there and predictably program you for the events that are coming, like the 5-7 event, the 7-7, and 5-7 is 7-7. So, and then Texas congressman is also 197. I've showed with 3-digit codes how a 3-digit code with a 1 in the beginning is also can be 1 times the other 2. So it's 1 times 97, or 97. Okay, it can also be plus. So it could, whatever, but in this case, it's definitely 97, and I have a lot of things to support that with the other 97. So this is crazy. And Ron Paul, this is one of many examples of headlines about this situation. I mean, different wording, but there's some that have a lot of the similar wording, like live stream. He was suffering medical incident. After suffering medical incident, things like that, suffering a medical something. I mean, a lot of the similar, and I'm going to show you how this one, for example, is just, it's all gematria. It's quite ridiculous. Listen, if you think all this is ridiculous and stupid, it's because, yes, the global Luciferian elites are ridiculous and stupid. So that matches. So yeah, I agree, it is ridiculous and stupid, and they are. Okay, I'm just chronicling it. I'm the messenger. I'm not part of it. I don't agree with it. I don't do gematria. In fact, I've had people that, have comments, and they say, "Oh, my birthday's this, and all that, and all this and that, now these numbers and all that," and that's as far as personally. And I'll say, "I can't help you. I'm not a soothsayer. I don't predict the future with numbers. I mean, I'm trying to get an idea of what they're saying. They're literally predicting the future with these numbers. That's what you got to realize. They're using these numbers to predict the future, what's coming. I'm just revealing. I mean, the Spirit of God and Jesus himself is working in me to show you these things and how they're thinking, what they're doing, and how they're showing the future. And I'm just revealing it to you. That's it. I'm not trying to figure out I'm just showing you what they're doing, and that's it. Trying to figure out what they're trying to say, okay, and what they're telegraphing all their people in the know, all the Masons that are all over. And this is all communication as well to many people in their clubs all over the world, okay, as well. So, for example, check this out. Ron Paul hospitalized. Now, check this out. Ron Paul hospitalized is 97. I mean, I think this is hilarious. I mean, when I think about it, it's just hilarious. 97? Are you kidding me? How many 97s are we going to have? A few. And then suffering medical incident is 725. Again, today is September, which is 7, and the 25th. Today is September 25th. September 25th is 725. And then during live stream is 1 times 97 or 97. There it is again. And then I decided to do a different phrase in here because they do combinations and different things. I decided to do, okay, so we have the concept of during a live stream, we have the concept of suffering medical incident, and then we have the subject of Ron Paul hospitalized. So, or for example, the subject and the action or whatever. And then so I decided to do after suffering. And after suffering is 79 or 97 backwards. I mean, this is crazy. And to do all this, for everything, all these things I'm showing you, it's got to be planned. And it's got to be demonic. It's very demonic because, the media is all involved and all these people, what ties all this in with all these media, all these different, reports and everything is there's demonic people that are controlled by demons, and the demons are communicating with each other, and they're putting all this stuff together. They're putting these false situations together and everything. All these FFs, false. You're waving American FLAG. Anyway, okay. So let's keep going. And then this is something that was tweeted. And then a lot of the different stories ran with the same exact message. Message from Ron Paul. I mean, this whole exact message from here to here. So right here to here. Message from Ron Paul. I'm doing fine. Thank you for your concern. This whole message was run several places I saw today. Okay, and why? Because it's full Gematria. And by the way, also, he is 85, which is 58 backwards, which is another code for Stinky BO because it's the elimination of Trumple. Okay, the 45th Prez. Trumple will be eliminated on a 5-8 day, as I've said many times. So we have that being forecasted as well in his age. Okay, so check this out. This full in Gematria message from Ron Paul. I'm doing fine. Thank you for your concern. That was shown many times because they just repurposed this in all these different articles and things. Because it's perfect Gematria. Why? What's 269? Can you guess? Can you guess what 269 before I tell you right now? 269 is the day of the year. September 25th. Today is the 269th day of the year, leaving 97 days left over. Remember the 97? RP Ron Paul is 97. All these 97s I'm showing you, because today is also code for 97. This also proves that they use the remaining days of the year as code as well. So this is perfect for this. I mean, this is mind-blowing. Anyway, hopefully you get this, what they're really showing you. It's just phenomenal. I got more. So having a stroke on air is what happened to him is 207, which is 2 sevens or 77. Again, we showed you that the code is 77. Today the code is 77 on the Jewish calendar, and even hidden code for today in September, 2 plus 5 is 7. Or it's also 7-11 because 2 is 1 and 1. And ultimately that's the attack day that they're promoting the birth of the Antichrist as a 7-11, as well as 7-1, other things too. And by the way, I want to mention this too. There's so much more in here that links all these to Obama as well. 44, 84, 260. And I'm just not getting to all that because I don't want this to be a huge long video. I want to be a shorter than normal video and then just get to the point on this main concept of today's date. So you cannot deny. If you deny this is all contrived, I mean, you don't get it. You can't see. I mean, literally, I'm proving it. This is impossible. All this stuff I'm showing you is impossible. Having a stroke on air is 207. Had a stroke. So some places reported Ron Paul had a stroke today. So had a stroke. Said many times. 97. 9, 2 plus 5 is 7. September 25th. It's crazy. Has a stroke. So they were saying it like this. Ron Paul has a stroke today, or they're reporting that on live stream Ron Paul has a stroke. 117 again. 11 times 7 is 77. Today is the 7-7 day. It's crazy. Another thing here from Ron Paul's. A lot of times you can look at the other details about the person. Again, they picked Ron Paul for a number of reasons for today because everything he is and does matches today. And I was looking for a bigger event. Okay, possibly happening. It still may happen. We have a few more hours in the day. Still may happen. But if anything, this is showing they're chronicling this day with all this numerology and gematria and stuff. So, but here's the numerology, for example. Ron Paul was born on August 20th, 1935. From the day of his birth, suppose whenever that really was, if that was it, all the way to today's date is 4,440 weeks and 4 days. I mean, I'm not even getting into all that. That 444 is Lucifer, and I mean all kinds of stuff. But if that's yeah. Hopefully you get that. That's crazy. Here's another one. So Ron Paul was a presidential candidate, I think like 3 times. I remember him doing debates and all that stuff. He was very annoying to me because he wasn't very articulate. He seemed like an old, like an old uncle that you didn't like, and he'd come out of the closet once in a while and stuff. I mean, I liked a lot of the things he was saying when those were going on, and I didn't know a lot about controlled opposition. I didn't know anything about controlled opposition and about how the global Luciferian elites, how they really work, and chessboard of you have the false light and you have the dark, and they're fighting each other on the chessboard, and they're behind the scenes doing all the evil. But I liked the idea of less government and libertarianism and all that kind of stuff. It was better than massive, huge government and control and everything like that. Of course, just simplistically. And he was a presidential candidate like three times. So presidential candidate is 3. 7 plus 4 is 11, or 311. Here's another example. Presidential candidate scrambled is 311. And then guess what? From today till the election just happens to be, from today till the election just happens to be 1 month, 1 week, and 3 days, or 311. Or 11-3, whatever, it doesn't matter. And again, I showed you in previous videos how Stinky BO is 311 in his birth, and his false birthday and everything. 11-3, 311. I have the last few videos. You got to watch them if you haven't. Check them out. There's a lot of massive detailed stuff in those about things that are coming, and about Stinky BO proving, in my mind, and a lot of people that follow me, proving he's the Antichrist. Right now I have over 500 solid evidences that he's the Antichrist. And wait till you see. You gotta see by one of my previous video, iPad Go 2, September part 2. Wow, I do this amazing connection that the Lord showed me about Chadwick Boseman's death, who was the Black Panther, and Kobe Bryant, who was the Black Mamba. There's 216 days in between both of their deaths, which is 216th day of the year is Stinky BO's birthday, August 4th. I mean, are you kidding me? And I just show boom, 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 all this stuff, and you can't deny it. You cannot deny it. If you do, I don't get it. I mean, how do you not see logic? How do you not see how all this stuff is impossible? Do you see all this stuff with Ron Paul is impossible for it all be this date? So thank you. I thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing these videos. I thank you for your prayers with me and my family so much. Thank you so much for everything. I tried to make this a shorter video because I want to put the point out. And I also want to thank people that have given to me and my family very much. And every time I do a video, I haven't done it for a while now, I asked Lord if I should ask for support, and He said yes this time. So I'm asking for support. If you like what I did here and you want to support what I'm doing with this ministry, with this, enlightening people about what's going on, and warning people about the time is almost here, and other videos, please support us. I would really appreciate it. We need your support. We're getting to the point where we definitely need support right now for my family financially. So I put a link in the description box. Thanks so much. Sometimes even when I need it and he says no, not yet, and then I'm just waiting until he says yes, and then or sometimes he says yes a few times. I'm like, okay, well, do I really need it yet? and then he says, just go ahead, and then, or whatever. So I just don't know. And so things happen. And anyway, it's just crazy. It's amazing to trust the Lord and all this stuff. And that's what I endeavor to do. I could monetize my channel. I could sell Patriots Patriot Pantry or whatever, even though I have a lot of that stuff. It's crazy. Or whatever. I could do any of that stuff, but I choose, I literally could, and I would probably make money doing any of that stuff and all that, and I just don't want, I don't feel right about that. I just want to trust the Lord and ask Him, and He tells me what to do and shows me what to do, and He tells me when to ask. So I thank you for your giving. And then I'm also going to put my P.O. box as well. People like to send me letters and things, so I appreciate that as well. So the link to the description box to PayPal will be in there, in the description box, and also the P.O. box as well. So thank you so much. Just want to thank you so much. And then I want to ask you as well to please, well, first, thanks for watching, and then like and comment, because if you don't like, and I haven't made a big deal about this in the past, subscribe, like, thumbs up, please, because I get a lot of negative people that literally, I just posted a video, this guy, Mark Murchison, basically, and he's, singing and stuff, and he's just a wonderful guy, and I got a bunch of thumbs down. I mean, do you have a problem with someone singing about the Lord? I mean, wow. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised at all, and I'm not really, but it's like, thumbs down? Man, there's some wicked people out there. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you're one of those people, and you want and listen to the end of this video, you should be ashamed of yourself. Wow. Anyway, so thank you so much. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. I mean, all that kind of stuff, please, and comment. If you like this, also I like positive feedback as well. I got enough negative feedback to, but if there's something, say this. I'm going to ask for this once in a while. I'm going to say, if there's something specifically you liked about this video, like some specific information, let me know that. I'd like to hear what was the thing that hit you the most, the wow, what was the biggest wow factor? So I kind of know, I think I know sometimes what would be the big things, but please let me know if there's something on this video that you go, wow, that was really crazy. Like 269, that whole phrase is 269 for the 269th day of the year. That's amazing. Or stuff like that. I like to know that, because sometimes I think it is a great wow factor, and it's amazing information to uncover. But for some people, it's just crickets, So anyway, without any further ado, thanks so much. God bless you. And please, you need Jesus right away. Come to Jesus. He's the only way. He gives me this information. He shows me what to do. He can help you. He can make your life so much better and heal you so many ways. So I just thank you for, just thank you for watching my videos and sharing them. And if you can give it all, appreciate it so much. This Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.